Hey everybody, Chris Hayre with you on the Backstage Chargers podcast presented by Toyota. Players are back in the building for Phase 1 of offseason workouts, and my guests this week are Hunter Henry and Adrian Phillips. We discuss the unofficial start to the 2019 season, the importance of setting the foundation in April, and welcoming new teammates to the Hope Performance Center in just over a week. Very pleased to be joined by Hunter Henry on day 2 of Phase 1 of the offseason workouts. Hunter, how are you, man?
I'm doing good. It's good to be back.
Yeah, it's good to have you back. I know you spoke to the media on Monday, and you said you feel good. It's got to just feel good to be back in general with the guys, kind of build that foundation for 2019.
Yeah, I mean, it's always special to get back out here. You miss. I think the thing you miss most is just being in the locker room, just kind of that whole, being around everybody.
The camaraderie, right?
The camaraderie of the guys. And you kind of build that in this stage that we're in the offseason. I mean, you kind of build that base of, getting to know everybody, relying on people for, lifting and, conditioning, trying to get through the runs together and different things like that. So it's a fun time just to kind of build that foundation. It's
not as highly publicized as training camp or even mini camp, but for listeners, just explain what this is. It's a lot of running, it's a lot of lifting, and like you said, it's almost like kind of the first day of school, right?
Yeah, I feel like it's the first day of school. It's always fun to get back, like I think everybody has said since we're back. But our strength coach, he definitely we kind of get after it in there, and we get after it on the field too. A lot of running, so it's a good base for us. Like I said, with everything else, I mean, it's good for us to get in shape and feel. We got to be very well conditioned, especially going into the season.
I was reading this book recently. It's called Raise Your Game by Alan Stein, and it made me think of you in a way because it talks about athletes and their performance and peak performance.
Yeah.
And he was talking about something called unseen hours. You had to put a lot of unseen hours in terms of just getting back. You didn't just happen to trot on the field in New England during that playoff game. Explain what 2018 was like. Was just getting back to get to that point.
It was a long, long process, and it still is. I'm still trying to get better and still trying to really. It's not get back to 100% for me. It's try to get back to 125%. So That's the thing. That's the extra stuff. I felt good going into that game. I definitely did, and I was ready to go. It was a lot of work. I'm in here every single day, 5 or 6 days a week for long, long hours, and especially the early on part of the process is the kind of the worst part. I mean, the whole process sucks, but just the pain level and kind of what you have to go through is, only people that have kind of been through it can kind of know. So it is a grind.
And then you go from the transition to rehab versus just getting better as a football player too, right? How do you put two separate buckets there and know, hey, I can transition from rehab to just getting better as a player?
Yeah, it's hard, man. I've never had to go through anything like this in my life. So it was a new thing for me. The back half of the rehab, once you get onto the field and you're running and you're doing more and more on the field, you kind of are starting to do football movements. And so just to be able to get back into practice at the end of the year was just good for me and my mentality, because that just – you're doing football movements, but you don't have people around. You're trying to avoid things. You're trying to do different things. So it was a difficult process, but I was able to do it.
And I imagine, man, it just builds character too. I mean, you're still a young guy in this league. To go through something like that in the moment, you're like, man, this is the worst thing that could have happened. But you may look back on this as just a character-defining moment, especially if this team has a lot of success over the next couple of years, which they're expecting to.
Yeah, it's definitely, I've learned a lot, and I'm excited to kind of carry that mental toughness and kind of what I had to go through forward.
Yeah. So this offseason, we were all sad to see Tyrell go. He goes to Oakland. Before we get into the receivers and just the offense in general, just your thoughts on Tyrell and moving on to Oakland.
Yeah, man, I'm excited for him. We're going to see him twice a year now, but he has such a cool story, man. it's really, really special to see kind of just the, you hate that he goes to a rival,
Sure.
but at the same time, I'm a friend of his and a teammate, and I've been through a lot with him too, and to see his story and what he's kind of came from and being undrafted and kind of working his way up the ranks, it's really special to see a story like that kind of be able to pay out with a new contract and everything that comes along with that. It's cool.
It's so well deserved. And it changes this offense a little bit. I mean, when you look at it, Phillips still under center. The running game is strong.
Mm-hmm.
You come back. You haven't really played with Virgil, so that looks to be something that the fans should get excited about. And then the receivers in terms of Keenan and Mike and Travis, and I know a lot of other guys here ready to step up.
Yeah, it's exciting. It was tough to watch a lot last year.
I bet
it was tough. It was very tough. But we have a tremendous offense, and anytime you have a Hall of Fame quarterback under center and a guy like Phillip that just kind of commands the field, it makes all our jobs a little easier.
Does it make it easy for you knowing that since you missed last season that you get right back into it with a guy like Phillip, and not just Phillip 200, but the theme looking around yesterday was just continuity, right? The coaches, a lot of the same coaches, a lot of the same guys. You make a few additions, a few subtractions, but for the most part, continuity is the theme.
No doubt. That's huge, though, carrying from one year to the next. Every year is different. You have to go into it with that. We're going to add some guys in the draft and free agent-wise, and so look forward to that. But we have a good foundation here, man. It's really special. So it's special to be around. It's a good group in the locker room. We have a good combination of young guys, and we have a good combination of vets too that have been around, and that's pretty special for young guys like myself. But I'm excited to get back on the field with 17. He's a special guy, and especially all those playmakers that are out there.
Yeah, no doubt about that. We are just over a week from that 2019 NFL draft, and was it 3 years ago? 2016.
2016.
Were you 35 overall? Is that what it
sounds
was?
Right.
Beginning of the second round.
Yeah.
Take me back to 3 years ago, going through this draft process, because there's so many guys like yourself that are going through it now. The combine, the Senior Bowl, the individual workouts, probably the stress and anxiety of not knowing where you're going to go. What was it like for you?
Man, it was special. It's a crazy process. I'm so glad I don't ever have to go through that again. But it's unlike any other. There's so many emotions. There's a lot of stress on you because you have no idea where you're going to go.
So what was it like for you on the first day? Because you were the first tight end off the board in 2016. There was probably in your mind a good chance you were going to be a first rounder. Yeah,
it was. I thought I was going to be in the late first round. It was about the 23 range to the end. So I actually had two parties plans kind of. I had everybody over for the first round.
Party,
they split up the first and second round, so it's hard for guys that are kind of on the cusp. What do you want to do, especially with all your family and friends and stuff?
You make a weekend out of it.
Yeah, it's a fun weekend. But we had a first round party. Did not get my name called, so that was kind of awkward. Not awkward, but it was just like, oh, okay. Well, everybody come back tomorrow. It's gonna happen tomorrow for sure. It better, but. It was special, man. I was very nervous. My phone was sitting right in front of me I've never really watched the whole draft like all the way through, but that was, you're sitting there watching like every single pick and every single thing, and like just so closely and looking at your phone and calling your agent. So yeah, I was at home. You were home.
So when you got the phone call, did you know that this was it?
Yeah, funny story. First round. So like I said, I was the end of the first round. And I'm sitting there and all of a sudden my phone rings and I'm like, it's kind of like out in front of me. And I can't really see who it is. So I just hear it start ringing and everybody's like,
and people know the deal, right? If your phone rings during the draft, like it's going to be an important call.
But actually it was one of my buddies that I haven't talked to in a while that was checking in on me because he heard the draft was happening, and I just was like,
oh no,
I'm so stressed out. And then all of a sudden I get relieved that, oh, it's finally over. And then it's just a buddy checking in on me. So I was pretty upset with that guy, for sure. I was pretty upset.
He didn't know. I don't think he knew the timing of the draft.
Yeah, I was. I mean, it was terrible timing. I don't know what he was doing.
So when you got the call, was it Tom? Did you get the call from Tom?
It was Tom. I kind of talked to everybody. McCoy was the coach then. Talked to Coach McCoy, all the Spanoses, and it was special, man. I kind of tore after the first pick in the second round. My agent said that we were the San Diego Chargers then, but that they were kind of interested in me, and I was like, oh shoot, that'd be sweet. I love San Diego, so it was special. Yeah. It was definitely cool to finally get that phone call and just kind of weight off your shoulders to finally know where you're going to be.
You know what's cool is I look back at last year, really 2016. So Joey was the first round pick there. So
yep.
You go into this year, and we don't know who's going to get drafted, but I look at the impact that some of the guys made last year. Starting with Derwin.
Yep.
And Uchenna had that strip sack in the Baltimore game. And Justin Jones started a game. Kaiser White was a starting linebacker going into the year. Justin Jackson, filling in for Melvin. You're going to have some guys coming in here you don't know yet that are going to make a big impact in 2019.
Yeah, I think that's we've kind of obviously when you pick someone high, you kind of expect them to come in and do that, but even just we've had a lot of low round picks and free agents that have made a big impact early, and that's huge to be a good team, because just how all the cap and everything, how all that works, I don't really understand it. But I know it's big for our team, and it's always good to have as many playmakers and as many players that can make plays for us.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to think about, because you mentioned some of those undrafted guys like Austin, and then Badgley comes in and really solidifies the kicking position. I get you out of here on this because I know your brothers are playing both at Arkansas now?
Yeah, they're going to be both at Arkansas. So I have one there already.
Okay.
He's going into his junior year. And then I have my other brother is going into Arkansas, so it's going to be pretty special. Man? It's going to be special, man. It's crazy.
And your dad played at Arkansas,
and my dad
too,
played
right?
there, so there's just there's a long lineage of Henry's playing at Arkansas, so it'll be special. It was kind of weird this year. My high school coach had a Henry for, I think it was like 9 or 10 straight years. So that was over, and then the next chapter is at Arkansas. So we're pretty excited. Games are going to be on the TV every Saturday for sure.
That's great, man. Then we get all 3 Henry brothers in the NFL. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, that'd be the next step. So that'd be cool.
That's good, man. Any off-season plans other than grinding out here?
I'm just hanging out with my wife, enjoying time with her.
And you got a great pup too. Was it Cooper?
Cooper.
What kind of dog is Cooper?
Great dog. He's kind of crazy, but he's a good dog. He's a mini golden doodle.
God, he's the best.
Yeah, he's a cutie.
Happy for just you being here and getting ready for 2019. Appreciate you stopping by. New draft picks in the mix. Should be fun.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, man.
All right, guys, before we get to Adrian Phillips, a reminder that we are just over 1 week away from the 2019 LA Chargers draft party at the Santa Monica Pier. It's Thursday, April 25th from 4 to 9 p.m., and tickets are free. Get your free tickets at Chargers.com. You can watch the draft with us on giant LED screens. Charger players are going to be there. Alumni is going to be there. ABC7's Ashley Brewer is going to be the host. I'm going to be in the mix as well. Again, Thursday, April 25th, 4 to 9 p.m. at the Santa Monica Pier. Go to Chargers.com to get your free tickets. All right, as we roll on here on the Backstage Chargers podcast presented by Toyota, here with a man we haven't seen since he re-signed with the Chargers, but it's like you never left. Adrian Phillips, how are you, man?
Man, I'm great. It feels good to be back and just getting things rolling. It feels good to be back in the building.
Yeah, like I said, I just saw you 2 months ago at the Pro Bowl. What does it mean to be back, though? Like, how important was it for you to be a member of the Chargers in 2019?
It was something that I really wanted. Just what we've built over the past couple of years, weighed a lot on my decision, and I just wanted to be a part of the great things that are happening here. We're turning the tide, and we're about to take that next big step. Still figuring out our way, but we're taking that next big step, and I just kind of wanted to be a part of that. So I'm grateful that the coaching staff, the front office was able to bring me back for another year, and so we can get this ring.
Absolutely. And, I know fans are excited, and obviously the coaches in the front office, they know how important you are to this team. It does feel like, just this phase one, and I was just talking to Hunter Henry about this, the continuity, the familiarity with everybody in the building, from the coaches to this roster. Obviously, a couple additions, a couple subtractions, but for the most part, a large portion of this team is back.
Yeah, and you really don't get that in a lot of places. I know
in the NFL specifically, you don't get that.
You don't get that at all. I think this year alone, there's about 4 new head coaches, something like that.
I think 8 new head coaches.
8. Wow.
But you know what, AP, it's not just that. It's the head coaches and then the coaches under them.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So, like, we look at this defensive staff, for instance, largely intact.
Yeah, largely intact. We'll be together for 3 years now. We know how each player operates. We know how the coaches coach. We know what guys can do best. Like what position can we put them in to succeed? And when you have that, it makes it a lot easier to game plan for the season, because you know what works best for your guys, and you don't have to wonder, well, can we get this done? Because you already know you've done it for 2 years. So having that sense of security, and just with all the coaching staff and all the players, even the workers around the building, just seeing everybody that you're familiar with, it makes it a whole lot easier, because you can pretty much pick up where you left off.
For sure. So with that said, describe phase one and how you view phase one. Again, I was just talking to Hunter. It seems like it just kind of sets the foundation for the 2019 season. It's kind of the unofficial kickoff. Yeah,
it definitely sets the foundation. Phase one to me is just getting back with your guys, grinding with your teammates, grinding. Everybody's been gone for about 2-3 months, doing whatever with the personal trainers or whatever it may be. But now you have 70 guys back with the strength staff, just grinding together. And you see all the work that you put in over the offseason. There's a whole bunch of competition going on, because people want to get people better. People want to see people get paid, see people win that Super Bowl ring. So phase one to me it's really just the foundation phase, and I think that's where you really have to hone in, because everybody knows if you're building a house or building something, it all depends on that foundation. If your foundation isn't right, then everything else is going to be rocky. So that's all phase one is.
100%. And we talk about the familiarity, but at the same time, 2018 does not carry over to 2019, right? So 12-4, you don't get points. You don't get points for that in 2019.
No, nobody cares what we did last year. They want to know what the 2019 Chargers are going to be like. We went 12-4 last year. It was great, but that's over. As soon as we lost, it was over. That's done with. We got a couple new guys in here. We expect them to come in and help us get to that next level. And there's bigger expectations for us now, because we've shown that we can do it. We've shown that we can take that next step. So now, if we really want to be in the talks, if we really want to be that team that we know we can be, we have to build on what we did from last year.
Yep. And you're one of the unquestioned leaders on this defense. They bring another guy, Thomas Davis, who's been doing this for a long time. You're 15, but when you saw that Thomas Davis was going to be a Charger, what was your first reaction?
I was so excited, just because, I watched him. I watched him for a long time.
He's a beast.
He is a freaking beast.
So let me tell you something that I told him. He probably knew this, but from 2005, he was drafted in 2005, right? He's the only defender in that draft that's still in the NFL.
Still playing. And he's playing one of the most rough positions that you could possibly play.
And we talk about perseverance. He's been through a lot of injuries to come back and to just play at a high level.
Yeah.
I think the last three or 4 years, he's made a Pro Bowl two or three times.
Right. He was undoubtedly one of the best linebackers in the league for the past 3 to 4 years. I don't really understand why Carolina let him go, but that's not for me to think about. But I'm happy they did. Just bringing in that leadership, bringing in that vet mindset. It's kind of one of those things when we brought in Bain, like 4 years ago, just bringing in that veteran leader, a guy who's won games, a guy who's done it for a long time. It changes that whole room. So you bring a guy like Thomas Davis in, who's played with another great linebacker like Luke Kuechly, who knows how to work, who who knows how to just press people's buttons and get them to levels that they couldn't even think that they get to. I think that's just going to raise that whole room up. I think it's going to raise our whole defense up.
There's no learning curve for a guy like that. He just come in, right? He knows, and he mentioned he knows Coach Smith from when he was in Carolina and Coach Milas, and he was in a Super Bowl just a few years ago.
Yeah. So he knows how to win. He knows what it takes to win. He knows how to get there. So just bringing a guy in like that, it was a great move, and I'm glad it happened.
One of the cool things last year was to see the rookies really step up, and we know what Derwin did, All-Pro, Pro Bowl. We know what Uchenna did this year, and getting that strip sack in the Baltimore game. Justin Jones started a game. Kaiser was a starting linebacker entering the season.
Well, obviously, they want to build off what they did last year, and our front office did a great job drafting those young guys, drafting guys who just want to get better. Like, Derwin doesn't care about last year. You talk to JJ, he doesn't care about last year. Chenna does not care about. It's in the past. It's in the past. They just want to get better. They want to be standing at the top of the podium at the end of the year. And just having those guys around makes it so great, because it's like, yeah, they're young, but you can't even tell. They're so hungry that you don't even notice that they're young guys. They just bring everything that they have to the table.
And guess what? They have playoff experience already.
They already have it. And you don't really have that. A lot of people really don't have that at a young age. Sometimes when you get brought into a team, you might not win for a few years. So you don't know the right ways to work. But they were fortunate enough to be around a lot of veteran leaders that knew how to work. So they saw that, they learned from it. They were just like sponges. Yeah. They soaked up everything, and it transferred to the field. And that's why they excelled last year. Chenna's freaking balling. JJ's freaking balling. We already know what DJ did. So, it's going to be exciting to see them build off of that for this year.
Couple that, and again, I just talked to Hunter about this. A year ago, we didn't know that Derwin was going to be a Charger, right? We didn't know Uchenna was going to be a Charger. Kaiser, Justin, list goes on and on. Justin Jackson. We don't know who's going to be a Charger in 10 days, right? There's going to be some other
10
guys.
Days?
Isn't that crazy?
Came by so fast.
But I guess my point is, you already know you have a locker room that can win. More guys are coming. They're going to be younger guys.
It's scary.
But I tell you,
it's scary
based on the track record of this organization, there's going to be some good players coming in here.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be real frightening for the rest of the league. So, depending on who we bring in, I don't know who it is, what position it'll be, but I know it's going to be the right guy. So, we do a good job of building up those young guys, and some guys need more building up than others. And I think we got real fortunate last year that we didn't have to build up that rookie class that much, because they play early and they produce. So I think it's going to be exciting.
What was the Pro Bowl like for you? It was 2.5 months ago.
Yeah, it was amazing. Just being out there with the best of the best, it was amazing. Just seeing everybody that you compete against, and talking it up with those guys, talking about the funny stuff that happened throughout the season, seeing all those fans out there just cheering your name and everything, people actually knowing who you are. That's crazy.
That's cool.
It was just amazing, just an amazing experience, something that you just want more of. So, you get that first little taste, you're like, all right, well, I want to go back. I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure I go back. So
that's the thing. I mean, you just turned 27, sixth NFL season. In what ways did last season personally change the way you think about what you can do and what you're capable of in 2019?
Honestly,
you almost raised the bar for yourself.
I did. And that's kind of one of my slogans that I like to say. Like, when I'm training with my guy Richard back at home, we raise the bar, we set the bar, and everything we do is trying to get us to that gold jacket. I want to be a Hall of Famer one day, and I'm still learning each year, figuring out new ways to get there. So I think last year the biggest thing for me was you can really impact at any part of the game. I had no idea I was going to be an all-pro at special teams. If you would have asked me at the beginning of the year, I would have said, look, I'm going to be the starting safety. I'm going to have 7 picks. I'm going to have this many PBUs, this many forced fumbles, and you just never know where God takes you, like what path he takes you down, and it's just all about how you react and how you adapt. And I just want to be like, I just want to be great. So anytime I'm on the field, that's my mindset. So being out there on special teams, I just wanted to be the best guy on the special teams.
Well, what you've already done, right?
Right.
You've shown the perseverance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Undrafted, you've shown the perseverance. We've heard the story about Tom's talked about how many times he brought you into his office.
Mm-hmm.
You've always found a way to do things that other guys aren't willing to do. Right. And that shows each and every year. And I think it's a testament to just your work ethic, but also being a leader on this team and leading by example, man. That's so important.
Yeah. It's I think leading by example is just something that's instilled at you at a young age. You hear a lot of people talking. You're always hearing people talking, no matter where you go. Like, I want to do this, or you should do this, you should do that, and people after a while talk is cheap. Talk is real cheap. So I just wanted to be a guy that was gonna be like, look, I ain't gonna talk about it. I'm gonna show you, and then you can figure out what you want to do after that. So if you see me doing this, if you see me going about situations the right way, if you see me handling stuff a certain way, then you know that it can be done.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just what I always lived by. My parents brought me up by that way, and then I was fortunate enough to have coaches through Pee-wee, middle school, high school, and college that live by the same philosophy. Just lead by example. A lot of people preach it, but a lot of people don't live by it.
You just got to do it. You don't have to say it.
Right.
You just got to do it. You got to act. Final thing for you. I think one of the more memorable moments for me last year was that London game and that 2-point tip, right?
Yeah.
To win the game 2019. And you guys were wearing your powder blues.
Mm-hmm.
The organization announced on Tuesday that's the primary uniform this year, those powder blues. I think this team is 4-0 with Coach Lynn at the helm. Well, just your reaction to that uni switch a little bit. It's the same uni, but it's just going to be worn a little more frequent.
I love it. Those powder blues are the best thing in the NFL, the best uniforms that we have in the NFL. So hearing that we're going to be wearing those 4 or 5 times this year?
It's a lot. I don't know the exact number, but it's going to be the primary unit.
Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait. I didn't even know we were undefeated in them, but it's just I
just think of big games, man. I remember the game, was it Dallas?
Yeah,
you guys went powder blues in Dallas. That was probably the game of the year in terms of just the national stage.
It was just being on the national stage, Thanksgiving, and then we're shutting the whole city down in the powder blues. It just felt great. So
it's great.
I'm excited. I can't wait.
This could be, man. It's just one little wrinkle to a 2019 season where there's high expectations, but a lot of hard work here at the Hope Performance Center. Mm-hmm. Adrian Phillips, always appreciate the time, man.
Thank you.
Glad to have you back.
Appreciate it.
All right, that's going to do it for episode 23 of the Backstage Chargers podcast presented by Toyota. A big thanks to Adrian Phillips and Hunter Henry for joining me. And of course, thanks to you all for listening. Be sure to download and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. We also invite you to rate and review Backstage Chargers on Apple Podcasts. Thanks so much for listening, and until next time, I'm Chris Hayre.